So I'm going to go into a lot more detail later, but we're at the Quick Trip, and a few hours behind us, and I'll go into more detail later about all that. All right, guys, to go into more detail on that. So basically, in a nutshell, I tried to rent a car. They didn't have any rental cars. It was Memorial Day weekend. What a dipshit. Plus, they had some hail damage up there, so everybody took their cars into insurance companies or to get the hail damage repaired and got rentals. So when I talked to the girl, she's like, hey, you're not getting a car anywhere in Tulsa. So I expedited that idea and asked Peterbilt Steve if he knew anybody. He had an extra car. He loaned it to us, and he said, hey, I'm going over here. Get over to their Uber. I'll pick you up and take you to said car, blah, blah, blah. So I get an Uber ride set up. Was already set up to go to Enterprise. The Uber driver pulls up. He was super cool. I said, hey, man, I'm not actually going to Enterprise because they have no cars. I'm going to meet my buddy. Can you take me over there? He's like, no problem. And so we get in the car, and he's like, hey, why don't you cancel the ride so it doesn't mess up my Uber scores and all that? And I said, yeah, sure, I did it. And then he's like, you could just tip me for the extra amount. And I was like, cool, but I couldn't tip him. So then he's like, well, if you could just give me cash, we'll just do it that way. And so he drove me over there, and then he was like, you know what, man, don't even worry about it, but I didn't want to do that. So I went into the Quick Trip to get cash. He dropped me there. I told Steve to pick me up there. The video you see is me in the parking lot. So I had my bags, and I was just posted up in the parking lot. And there was a lot of homeless people there, and they were very intrigued about why I was there, where I came from, where I was going, what I was doing. They were also looking at my stuff, and they were like, why does he have such nice stuff? There was one lady that was in the video. I didn't want to be rude and put her in the video, but she was very intrigued about if I was a truck driver. I said, yes. She said, where are you from? I said, Texas. And she was very intrigued at me until I told her, she was, well, where's your truck? I said, oh, my truck's not here. She was done. She was out. She just basically walked off. So I guess she thought I was going to let her in the truck and take her to Texas. I don't know. But anyway, that's just a little backstory on it. Steve picked us up. He was like, kind of a brave move staying in the parking lot with all your bags, but whatever. And I'm like, so I guess it wasn't that great of a part of town. But anyway, we made it through, as you can see. We're here. Let's get back to regular scheduled programming. All right, guys and gals, y'all can see we are at Peterbilt today. Like I said, we're going to meet up with Steve, who's right in there. Let's go in here, and we're going to pick some colors today. So let's go. All right, so we're going in. We had breakfast. There's Steve. You very rarely see him. Rare sighting. We're going in. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so we are in the room. There you go. We're going to pick some colors today. Probably not going to show those on camera, but we are going to pick them. All right, let's go.
Purchase your tracks today.
All right, so me and Steve, he's getting out of here. He's had enough. Can't stand no more. Wow, what did we pick here? We picked like several colors.
We knocked a good dozen out.
Yeah, we're colored up for a few months, so there they are. Not an easy process keeping it all straight. So anyway, he's gonna go get the box and put all these up. One problem we have is there's tons of colors here. You probably think, well, that would be easy to pick something, but we've already done a lot of these colors. So that's one thing we try not to copy. Now, luckily, we do have some trucks that went by the way, so we definitely can do that. But well, as you can imagine, I'm sure, very rainy. We're still parked up, we're still clean. We are the only people here, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna win. They say the rain's gonna lay off tomorrow. Okie Shine is right there. But yeah, so they're not gonna park till tomorrow, which is fine. We got stuff done with Peterbilt Steve this morning. It did quit raining for a minute. We were just checking a couple things out, but definitely gonna be a wet, rainy one this show is. So they're saying the forecast changed a little bit. Maybe it's going to clear out. So I don't know. We'll recheck it and see what's up. But yep, day 2, Tulsa. Let's go. Yeah, there was a little water in there. We're getting her dumped out. All right, so we are parked. We got our spot. We were pretty much completely dried down. And as you can see, it's raining again. So no real reason to get crazy. Tomorrow's supposed to be much better. That's when the judging is. So we've got it all. I mean, we're very clean. So tomorrow I'll bust the ladder out. Really just need to hit the stacks. We'll go do a once over on everything. If that happens fast, I'm actually going to go talk to Okie Shine and maybe acquire their help to do like a quick wipe down if we have to. Just go ahead and get them on board. The thing about that is if it's raining till in the morning and then it dries up and then you got to be ready for rags down, sometimes you can get in a time crunch. And it's just, you don't have enough time with one person. Here's a truck that just pulled in. Kind of cool. All right, let's get out of the rain.
World records are hard to do, they're hard to set. But in this class, they seemingly have been falling left and right between Dave Stewart, Oscar Velasquez, Mario Minetti. And there for a long stretch of time, Gordon Cooper wasn't the man. I don't know if you guys can see the angle that I have down the track. We're out there at about 1,000 feet. The last 320 feet, that thing was wobbling back and forth. Got some swish to it, went 1259 at 128.44.
All right, guys and gals, as you can see, it's a very rainy Saturday. Truck's very wet, but we're still out here. Pretty light group for the show because the weather was basically just terrible. The weather was really nice yesterday afternoon, and I think it's going to clear up this afternoon and be really nice, but the interim time is just rainy and wet. So anyway, we're just out here chilling. I'm going to go see what the official plans are, but here's your trucks that are still here. Nobody's here right now, obviously, because it's just been pouring rain. But anyway, so it's dry in here. I was going to kind of show you all the setup. We got our ladder in here. We've got the generator in the back. We got a little bike here we stole from Red Devil, cooler, 5-gallon bucket of stuff. So we're rigged out really well, but it's raining and we didn't get to use any of it. So kind of a bummer. This is the best setup we've had, but that's okay. We got a lot of shows coming up, so we're good for those. But anyway, yeah, kind of a bummer. I think the weather's going to get nice in a minute, but I think they're going to judge in the rain, so we don't have to wipe down. And then we're just going to figure out, I guess, how we get out of here, what the rest of the weekend looks like, if we're staying or going. So anyway, kind of a bummer. Not a lot of show coverage. I know a lot of guys were coming and they didn't because of the rain, so makes sense. You know, not a wasted trip for us. We had other business to do in Tulsa. So, yeah, 10-4. All right, guys and gals, they just handed out the trophy. Thank you. I was going to get a video of Okie Shine's cool air up deal, but it's gone now because of the rain. We did manage to swap a trophy, which is something I've always wanted to win. It's this bobtail antique combo. So, yeah, I've been trying to get. This was the goal, guys. I mean, you don't get a trophy like that very often. I'm going to be honest. So here we are. This guy over here, I guess, cleaned up pretty good. Zach Cooper, right there somewhere. Who's this guy? Co Blue Media. Covering it all. I'm sure you'll see tons of coverage on the web, on the interwebs. All right, we're getting out of here.
Hi, it's Melissa with Such Tractor.
Remember, they're running the full quarter mile.
Right here in Tulsa.
Clifton with the advantage off the start. He just cut an O-light in a Peterbilt. Went 0.54 reaction time, and here comes that Gilmore. Starting to lay the wood to it, banging through the gearbox. Look at that, that rolling call. Clifton trying to outpace him as they get mirror to mirror. Win light. It's going to be Ron Clifton in the red line oil lane. Gets the dub. Went 21-23 with an 8. That was a full-on 100% whole.
All right, guys and gals, it's Sunday. Show's over. It's done. We did manage to grab a trophy. Happy about that. Everybody's pretty much gone. So we have a nice day today to drive. No rain. However, you can see it is foggy, which is worse than rain. But there she is. We're going to load our stuff in it. We're going to take our little borrowed car back. Big shout out to Peterbilt Steve for letting us borrow that. I made a mistake. Obviously it's Memorial Day weekend. I did not think about that. There was no rental cars to be had. So he really saved us with letting us borrow his little unit there, which is cool because I always wanted to drive an FJ Cruiser, and now I know. So cool little rig. Thank you so much, Peterbilt Steve. Anyway, here we are. We're going to load up, like I said. We're going to go grab some breakfast, dump his car off, Uber back over here, and I'm hoping by then the fog is gone and we'll cruise home on an epic Sunday driving trip back home. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Tulsa show in the books. There was some stuff in this video that was kind of cool, picking out the colors and stuff. I'm going to do some short versions of that and drop it on here as a short too. But anyway, who's left? These guys, one of these guys for sure is from Texas, little service trucks, and then one of Zach Cooper's guys is still here. The rest of them rolled out last night. So there were some nice trucks here, so just not a bunch. The weather definitely Hendrixed that. That's not even a word. Put a Hendrix on that. Anyway, all right, we're gonna get out of here. That's another thing it's gonna do is we have a lot of dew on here. We'll let that just kind of burn off on its own, so we don't have to drive the whole thing down. But yeah, let's load up. Let's get going. See ya.